Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel where I post videos of my performances, topics related to and not related to music. If you're new to this channel or haven't done so, please hit subscribe and bell buttons so you can get notification for my next videos. Today I'm finally getting to making a video on the fourth piece of Burgmuller's Opus 100, The Little Party. I gave up on French at this point. For those who are looking forward to this video, I'm sorry it took me a long time to make this because I was dealing with studio recital and family sickness and so on, and it was quite hectic for the last couple months. But everything back to normal now, so I hope I can make more videos in August.
At the same time,
the numbers of views and comments were going down as I went through these videos. So please do me a favor and hit the like button, share this video, leave a comment so I'll be more motivated to make next videos sooner. Before I get into the music, as always, I want to say huge thank you to my patrons on patreon.com. Your support has been huge encouragement as I try to grow this community little by little. And if you're kind enough to support me for $3 or $10 per month, I'll leave the link to my Patreon page in the description. Alright, let's start. This music has a little special place in my heart because this is the first music I played for a competition and I won. The funny story is I was so little and I didn't really care about the result of the competition, and I feel like I won more competitions when I didn't care. Well, that's another day's story. Anyway, as always, I'm gonna start by playing this music. So, as you can see, the main technical focus of this piece is the parallel thirds and parallel sixths. Parallel third is when you play two notes that are a third apart, one after another, which forms two lines that goes in parallel like this. And when the two notes are sixths apart, that's parallel sixth. Now, if you're following my method, this is not the first time you play parallel thirds because this comes up in dozen a day many times. But for those who are playing parallel thirds or parallel sixths for the first time, the tricky thing is to play both notes at the same time. And the key here is flexible hand and voicing. Now when you try to play this first note, it's a little tricky to play at the same time because your third finger is longer than the fifth finger. So naturally, your third finger will hit the key first like this. And to prevent that, you can twist your hand a little to the right so that it can compensate for short fingers. And by twisting to the right, you're putting more arm weight on your pinky. And that helps with the voicing too, because the top notes are the melody here. So twisting your hand to the right slightly will help you both technically and musically. And sometimes, even if you're careful, those two notes can come at the slightly different timing, but if your voicing is good and if you have plenty of arm weight on the top note, that's gonna come into audience's mind first, and they're not gonna hear the separation of the sound as much. And when you're playing descending scale like this, make sure your hand is not moving position by position like this. This kind of sudden motion requires a lot of force to the left and also to stop that motion, resulting in moving too much like this, or trying to stop and pushing to the right by mistake. So the best way to play this scale is by gradual motion of your hand. So as soon as you play one key, you start moving your hand like this. So by the time you play the third note, your hand is halfway to the next position already. So all you have to do is move a little bit more, almost like tucking in your thumb and reaching to the next spot. If I do the whole scale, it'll look like this. Rather than trying to move between the three distinct positions, try not to stick to one position, but as soon as possible, start moving and have this nice linear motion to the left. And in the beginning, your melody in the left hand. Now if you just follow the melody notes, you can interpret like this. Melody going up, and going down, and end of the phrase. Which is not a bad idea, and for the sake of interpretation, I'm all for breaking the markings on the book. However, in this case, you have this clear descending line in your right hand, and just like the book says, if you use this left hand melody as an opening and use this right hand descending scale as a closure, it's sort of like a question and answer. It works much better. So I would just follow this marking here and go. So you have nice up and down and up and down. And then you have this forte section towards the next part. And I like to put a little diminuendo at the end so that it kind of leaves a little bit of mystery. And don't forget this fermata. This is an important fermata. The textbook definition of fermata is to hold that note for longer than its original value. But in this case, it's the rest that you have to hold. The way I teach my students fermata is that it's like a magic clock where you have a button to stop the time. And then the whole world's time stops right there until you decide to start again. And how long you're going to stop is up to your interpretation. But make sure you take advantage of this fermata musically and technically so you can get ready for the next section. And you only start the next section when you're completely ready. The next part has a main theme that comes back over and over throughout the piece. And for these parallel thirds, my advice is same. Be flexible and keep your arm weight on the right side of the hand. And just like I explained in the first piece, you're gonna have to let the wrist follow your hand, like this. So you put your arm weight to the right side of the hand, so your hand leans to the right a little bit, and wrist goes to the right a little bit, and then move to the left. Now reset your hand, and then move to the left again. And reset your hand. Left to right. Right to left, and slight shift by changing your finger numbers on the same keys. Left to right, right to left. Now you have this ascending scale, and the fingering says 2-4, 2-4, 2-4, 2-4. Now using the same finger over and over tends to make people's hand really stiff and go like this. It's gonna end up in playing like this. And you're gonna miss the key. So make sure the playing of the key is done by your fingers curling in and playing the key like you would normally play the keys. Your fingers act like legs, and imagine what happens your two legs kick the ground, your body jumps up a little bit. So it's normal for your wrist and hand to go up a little bit. And if you do that in succession, it looks like this. And if I do that quickly, it looks like this. Now, even though your wrist goes up and down a little bit, make sure your legs are not far. Actually, your legs are sliding on the keys so you can feel when it goes to the next key. Once you leave the keys, then you're lost, and there's a huge possibility that you don't land on the right keys to play the next keys. So basically, you play with these two fingers, and then those two fingers kicks up the hand a little bit, and then your fingers slide to the next keys, and then do the same thing again. Whoops, I landed on the wrong fingers. And again, rather than going here, 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 make sure your hand goes in a consistent linear motion. And use the same trick for the next two measures, and here comes a parallel sixth. Now this Sharma edition says to use 1-5, 1-5, 1-5 for all the sixths, which you may have to if your hands are too small. But my recommendation is to use 5, 4, 3, 5, 4, 3. In order to play 6 with 1 and 3, it requires a little bigger hand span. But if you can handle it, this is a much better way of playing it, because by using different fingers, you can at least play the top notes legato, even though your thumb can't connect. It sounds pretty smooth like this. Because again, you're drawing the attention of the audience to the top note melody rather than the bottom note. So because the top note is legato, our brain interprets that as a whole thing being legato. And don't forget to close this whole section with nice diminuendo. Notice I'm lifting my wrist a little bit toward the last note to achieve this nice diminuendo. In this middle section, you want to change the character and be as mysterious as possible. And for those who are familiar with the music theory, it sounds unstable because this entire section is one gigantic 5/7 chord that requires resolution. For those who are not familiar with music theory, just listen to it. It sounds almost mysterious. To express that instability and mysteriousness, I go really soft and Noram weight here until this crescendo. Notice how I played the second ta-la-la much softer, because this is exact repetition of the first one, and I call this echo. And echoes, just like real echoes, are supposed to be softer than the first one. Now for your left hand, you have this sforzando. You don't have to smash the key like this, but just make sure you have a nice diminuendo going on. So think this sforzando like a little accent. For your left hand too, make sure you're focused on the top note and be flexible with your wrist. Follow the fingers. Let the fingers pull the other parts wherever they need to be. And even here, notice how my left hand is going toward the next position as soon as you start the first note of the previous phrase. Here, you can do this position A, position B approach. That'll eliminate the possibility of hitting the wrong key caused by sudden motion, and your thumb becomes a little more smoother. If you're the kind of person who pays attention to every details in music, you'll notice that the fingering here is different from fingering here or fingering here. These are all ascending parallel thirds, but why are they all in different fingering? Honestly, I don't know. Maybe the editor is trying to get you to use the different fingerings for the sake of practicing different fingerings. But if you choose one of these fingerings and stick to it, I don't really care. I mean, 2-4, 2-4, 2-4 works everywhere. That's how I won my competition as well. For demonstration purpose, I tried to use the exact fingering as a book in the opening, but I apparently failed because I got so used to using 2-4. Alright, these are some of the main learning points and tips I wanted to share today. If you liked the video, please hit the like button so YouTube will know this is a good content and start spreading to other people as well. Of course, there are so many other things you can do with this piece, and if you're interested in full lessons with me, I'll leave a link to my online appointment system. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section. And if I get enough reaction for this video, I'll keep making the series. Again, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button so you won't miss my future videos. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye!